Thanks a lot for your time. I would like to start with a huge thank you, genuinely, for coming here today. I know today and yesterday, if you've been attending yesterday as well, was quite intense. I do hope that this session, as all others that you have heard today and yesterday, would be helpful to you in your endeavors, business endeavors, technical endeavors, whatever it is that you're doing. And I do hope that this session as well will be helpful for you to accelerate your ideas, whether it's just something small or something already in progress. So here's what we're going to speak about today. So I'll tell you about GenAI photo booth that we at Databricks host just over there. You might have seen this already yesterday or today. If you haven't, please drop by. We're really happy to see you all there. We will be speaking about how we develop this, but not from a technical perspective. I'll set this expectation straight away because technicals could cut you another 2-hour session at the very least, and we value your time. We would be rather speaking about how exactly we at Databricks approach MVPs with our customers. How do we plan those? What do we look for? How do we shape this and promote this with the teams? I will speak about a bit on the internals and the externals that you should also keep in mind as we do, and just close on a small note on what you can do starting basically next week. So just a bit about me, a bit about how and why I'm standing in front of you here. So my name is Daria, nice to meet you all. I'm a solutions architect with Databricks. I support mostly startups and digital native businesses here in the UK. What we do as solutions architects, as engineers, we help our customers adopt the platform in the most effective, scalable, optimized way that fits their architecture and their technical strategy. Myself, I'm coming from consulting experience, so almost 9 years supporting large banking institutions, and now I'm in startups, and you know what I can see? People, regardless of the scale of the organization, is what they seek is how they can build something small but something valuable really, really fast. And we at Databricks, we are really passionate about just that, helping our customers support and help them build data and AI products in a real fast, scalable way. You might know us as inventors of Lakehouse Paradigm. We are also huge fans of open source. If you are as well, you might know that our founders have created a lot of projects that are currently very popular in the open source world. And those projects form the backbone of our approach. Those projects form the backbone of our platform, data platform that helps and caters to all kinds of data personas, whether you are an engineer or a data scientist or a data analyst or a business person as well. So, and one of the things that we as solutions architects do with our customers is help them build those MVPs on the platform. So how do we as solutions architects do that? There are a few rules of thumb that we usually follow when sort of choosing and scoping for an MVP. So first of all, let's talk about what constitutes a good, solid idea for an MVP, GenAI MVP, or anything else. So first of all, 2 questions, equally important. Who will pay and who is going to use? Users, and by users I could mean yourself as practitioners or business users as whoever is going to work off the back of whatever it is that you're creating, or anyone else. They want to see the value of what they're paying for, what they're investing their time with. Second thing, we as solutions architects, as engineers, we usually try to listen for frictions in the business. For example, if you hear questions like, it's too costly, it's too complex, it's too expensive, our ears perk up immediately, because that's the point where an idea could already start generating interest with the business. Third question, of course, we are customer obsessed and we want the users, again, disclaimer what user is, we want to know how the users will interact with whatever it is that we are building. Users want to adapt their workflows to the architecture. The architecture should cater to their workflows. And fourth point, equally important. So we sometimes hear from our customers and just generally things like, we want to try GenAI. Why? We ask. because it's cool, because it's hype. But does it really solve the friction? If it's not, that's your red flag. Seek the excitement from users by even the most boring technological stack, but if it resolves the problem, you're in the right spot. So our story, GenAI falls above. So our marketing team has approached us saying they want to increase the engagement at off-site Databricks and all Databricks events. From that statement alone, we could already see our importance points that help us shape and scope. Who is going to pay the marketing? What is their golden metric? What is that they're looking for? The level of engagement, say number of people coming to the booth. What is our audience? Non-technical or technical users, but rather the ones who are just genuinely interested in Databricks. And we also can see the point of friction, right? How to develop applications fast with Databricks, how to develop pipelines fast with Databricks. So quick, efficient workloads is a point of friction that we could target. So that's how we came up with the idea. We developed a GenAI photo booth, which, and if you have tried this, you have already heard that. We take a headshot of you, we run this picture for a GenAI pipeline with your prompt of choice. Say you want to be Harry Potter, so we attach that. We generate the image and print this as a small token of, remembrance of the good days. But the thing is, except the camera and the prints, the rest is fully developed and hosted on Databricks using native tools available there. So that way we could also bring people to see us and talk to us, and as well as speak about how that they could do the same on the platform. So again, I did that disclaimer before. For technical details, I'm not going to bore you with that. Quite a big day anyway for technical anything. So for this, I encourage you highly to read this article written by Chris and Gabriel on behalf of whom I'm standing here today. So it contains boilerplate code, instructions, how to build the same thing except for the camera and the printer that you can see over at our booth. So that's on our story, just a brief on the architecture, just so you can see how it looks like. So whenever we take a picture, we load this instantly into UC volume, which is, again, the part of the Databricks. We have chosen Instant ID model as one of the best resulting models that we see from the latency and from just, handling facial features and such. That took us quite a lot experimenting with that as well. With MLflow, again, native tools available on Databricks, we are able to load this, to serve this as an endpoint with Databricks, which we directly serve into the application that we host, again, on Databricks. An application is just like any web page that you could see on the internet with people picture taken, picture generated, and buttons to print. So it's simplistic, right? It took us quite a few iterations to arrive at this. But the first question in this architecture is, what is our core functionality? And this is the first question that you might need to answer yourself when developing an MVP. What is the core functionality? Because that would be the focus, the backbone of whatever it is that you're building. And for us, it's simple. How to take the picture and put it into GenAI model and get some results. So that was the focus of our first week, right? How we can deliver basic pipeline and endpoints within a few days. So here is sort of a lesson number one that we took out of this, and how we basically reiterate the same with our customers. How we can ship something really quickly. It could be ugly, but it works, right? And polish later. So everything that can be polished later. And that was the focus of the next 2 weeks. Hardening, polishing, API, permissions in Unity catalog, choosing the right model. So we have hit this issues with the model itself generating kind of weird images. So again, natively on Databricks, we were able to switch the model, and due to our modular approach, we were able to test that quickly as well. And that's sort of the second point, which is heavy testing, right? So we were able to achieve relevance and quality with offline evaluations and a lot of user feedback. So that's lesson number 2. As soon as you can, and that's why you are building this so fast, bring people to try and give you solid unsolicited feedback. So that's sort of lesson 2. Lesson number 3, because it doesn't exist in a vacuum, and we will speak about this a bit later, legal, security, and finance. What helped us really is reiterating the whole MVP and the ideas for the future in terms of, okay, what is going to happen after we develop this with our stakeholders. So we have been constantly on call with them for data usage, data protection, how we can, and can we even store pictures of people? Spoiler, we can't and we don't, so the picture is deleted once it's printed. GDPR and stuff. Also, we'll touch on that later. We revised sizing a lot, so how we can introduce rate limits, for example, what kind of hard guardrails we can have in order not to overspend the budget that we've given. Talk to them how we can offset the repeatable costs. So these are the things that are sort of throughout the development of the MVP. It's highly important, and it's not point number 3, to keep your eye on these things at all times. And you can see by the end of week 3, we have done everything. So we have deliberately snatched 25% at the start to develop the core functionality, and 25% of the time at the end in order to test this heavily for only late-minute issues. Again, MVP doesn't require you to have an ideal, polished version of whatever it is that you're building immediately. It's not the point. The point is deliver minimum viable product that is maximally engaging with your users. So here's our plan. For you, it could be not week 1, 2, 3, but sprint 1, 2, 3. You could have, instead of a week, you could have a month. You could work on a GenAI pipeline or a data engineering pipeline, or you're just doing a pet project. But this is sort of things that we kind of work around in terms of a framework when we're working with our customers as well. Having touched that in terms of how we plan it, right? Now, what happens in between? How do we make the right impression? How do we make the people aware of what we are doing? And how, most importantly, we speak to the business? The first thing, so we solutionists, practitioners, we are nerds. We like to really be proud of reducing the latency by 20%, automating 50% of the workloads. Small numbers that you can currently use, you can see, yes, it's working faster. And the business might even adhere to that, they might even be sympathetic to that, but in the end of the day, they will ask you, so what? And it's very important to speak to the business with their language. This is sort of a cheat sheet that I have created in order to illustrate that regardless of what is that you're doing, regardless of what is that you're trying to optimize, make better, all of those metrics could be mapped onto 3 things that the business really cares about. It's either time or revenue or risk. So instead, for example, we have deployed a new model which is less hallucinating for your, customer support pipeline. You could say you have avoided risk with compliance and brands because your agent is now, speaking better and referencing the right documentation. Instead of data freshness, you can say time to insight, right? You're delivering your data quicker to your business, and so on. So this is sort of, and of course, one of the good part, if you can transfer those metrics into actual money, you're in a real good spot, because in the end, this is something to talk about at all times. Now, that's for the business, but that's not just it. We humans, we want to be heard and known, right? So we want the rest of the teams know what exactly is that we're building. So a few tactics that we've used in order to promote this whole MVP, and tactics that we employ when working with the customers as well. So strong narrative is the point number 1. So you should already have that if you've worked through the whole planning exercise. What we also did is we shared one slide. We just prepared like simplistic slide deck, not really much of information in terms of details, just exactly what it's doing, what problem does it solve, how it works. Really simple bites that we could share with heads of something, of different departments that they could share it downside to their teams and promote your MVP as results. Again, value the time of the people who you are talking to, right? Don't ask for huge hour lengthy, unless they ask, meetings with them in order to explain what you're doing. Also, helpful thing that we did, just demo. We just recorded like literally 1 minute demo. Here's where you click, here's what's the output, and send them across together with the one sliders. Reporting. So for the wider audience, we have created a Slack channel. Hey guys, here's what we've done this week. Here's what our plan next week. Also helps increase awareness. And I touched on this already, but doesn't hurt to touch again, reiterate with the stakeholders. That really helped us not just be boastful and good about what we've done, but also responsible about what we are doing. A bit on the rest that's happening outside, right? So the pitfalls, some of the pitfalls, so that you don't have to hit the same. I've put them into 2 buckets, and the first bucket is going to be the internal one, right? So regardless of the industry that you're in, regardless of what your company is doing, regardless of what your role is, it all boils down to basically the same components when it comes to developing a product. And the first one is the stakeholders, right? Widely used word, especially today. Those guys will be asking you how you're going to measure success, right? So finding the right metrics for your MVP, for us, again, it was engagement, right? But for you, it could be anything else. Finding the right metrics is the most important thing when speaking to them, because that's how they will say, yes, your MVP works, we want to expand it. Also, if you're from consulting as me, RACI matrix, so responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed, also helps to sort of navigate who you are going to speak to when promoting an MVP. Second pillar, finance. Those people will always be asking you, how do you spend my money? How do you, what kind of return you could offer me? And what kind of plan you have going forward. So for us, it was really helpful to agree hard guardrails with the finance team. So if the budget is overspent, we kill it. Or if the rate limit is that, we kill it. So it helps us to ensure, to gain their assurance that we know what we are doing. The third pillar is legal and security, and they are, in the end, concerned about one thing: how are you protecting the data, right? We live in a world where data protection, data privacy is not just highly important thing, but also legally enforced. So having an answer of how do you work for every security thing, having to review those security internals with your actual teams helps reduce risk with the MVP. So that's the for internal bucket. Helpful thing to do at all times, log blockers and risks, because when you will be reiterating that post-MVP, that will help you shape the future of the product. External ones, right? So where we are at the end of this presentation, right? We know what the business wants, right? They want happy customers, positive return on investment, they want recognizable brand, they want to de-risk it. And we have already gone through all of this ordeal in order to deliver that. We spoke to stakeholders, we gained their attention, we raised the awareness, we gauged the right metrics and found them exactly where we want them. So in the end of the day, does it give the business what they want? And the answer, of course, is yes, because you've done all this great work. But, again, we live in a world where there are things much bigger than us, much bigger than your role, much bigger than your organization. This is just an excerpt of the things that we usually have to speak to our customers about when working out some new feature with them, some new use case, right? GDPR, HIPAA if you're working in healthcare, a few of the legislations if you're working with the US market or any other market, right? So this is just a selection of things that should be constantly on your background in order to ensure you're not missing everything. Because the fines for this are extremely enormous. That doesn't mean that you're going to pay for them, but somebody will, and that is painful. And of course, apart from the legislation itself, any content rights, any data processing rules, any third-party TSNSs, if you have a portion of your MVP, of your product that is reusing some proprietary software, check this. This is extremely important to figure out before you start. So in terms of recapping, so a few of the key takeaways. So first and foremost, right, we spoke about frictions, we spoke about business, what the business wants. Look for the frictions, look what causes them pain. Don't try to test the tech stack because it's cool, because it's new, because that doesn't constitute an MVP if it doesn't resolve a problem. And have measurable metrics, because that is going to help you navigate what exactly is that you're going to do. Ship the core functionality first, right? The walking skeleton, something that's ugly but it works and that you will be building around in the future. You can always polish this later. I know for myself, having to sit, not even having, being tempted to sit 6 hours through the night in order to polish this exact SQL query because I find it cool. It's amazing, but it doesn't solve the MVP problem. Translate tech wins, your technical objectives, into the business objectives. So again, time, revenue, and risk. Those are the things that you can tailor your MVP to in order to be more relevant to the wider business. Always have a strong narrative and always have a quick bites for promoting your project. It could be just that one slide deck that you have just saved on your phone that you can bring in a sort of an elevator pitch, or have you heard we're building that, or this is exactly the problem that we are currently solving with our MVP at separate departments. Something that just helps you to raise awareness quickly and efficiently. Regular checkups, like catering to your health, you should be catering to finance, legal, and security at all times, and this goes without saying that those have the power to shut it down whenever they can. And you wouldn't want that because you've already spent so much time and passion and energy in building what you're building. And of course, MVP, the last letter of MVP, it is a product. So all production rules apply. Any regulations, legislations, company policies, third-party terms and conditions, all those apply. Even that's a small thing that you have automated for yourself or for your smaller teams. So be aware of that. What you can do next week, right? If you already have an idea or if you are already working on something, that's something that you can basically start with. Pick one use case, something that is really small, and reuse everything that's available for you. For example, in Databricks, we are offering solutions accelerators and sample notebooks, which I have referred to in the article before, to build something quickly, to test your idea and see how it flies. Send this to your stakeholder with a short narrative. Here's what we're doing. Here is how we can help you. Analyzed, it could save you this much. They're like, wow. So you could try that and see if it flies. In case of any questions, we are over there at booth M80. So it's a bit inverted, so we are here. M80 is straight ahead. The photo booth itself is back there at M120. Here is Uday, he's amazing. He's back at the booth and can also answer any questions. I will be there as well in order to speak to you if you want. So, thanks a lot.